We're live. Quick caller check. Pour some water. Drop this in the chat. Get my visuals up. The usual stuff, right? Okay. Hope you guys are doing good. If somebody can let me know that you can hear me when you come in, that would be awesome. I'm trying to think. Oh, drop the link. Just got to figure out where to get it. I know where to get it. Just had to come to mind. Hope you guys are doing good. I as usual, was just like busy right up to stream. I'm going to drop this in Telegram. So give me 1 second. In the main Telegram here. All right. We're live. For new people, mostly. Mostly. I just dropped a tweet. Okay, so that's in the main Telegram. And I got to get my slides. Got to get my slides pulled up. I got to upload one. So give me a second. Because I updated my slides. I told you guys I was going to update them. And I followed through. I did it. Let me get this screen. So I got the slides uploading. I'm going to get the screen share going. Just while people pile in, I guess. Pile in. Come in, however it goes around here. And we'll get this going. We don't need to show that just yet. You like the notifications? Good. Hex Elvis. Especially when they work. Somebody was saying, was it you that was saying they don't work? That's a bummer when your fail safe fails. That's a bad deal. That's never good. That's what the fail safe is there for, not fail. So if you guys go to the main Twitter, PulseTGC @PulseTGC, and treat yourselves to that video that Backwards Hat Dad created. I'm gonna tell you what, man. If that don't get you fired up, you might not have a pulse. Listen to the words. Just man, I'm blown away at technology. We're using it. We need to use technology for the Grays ecosystem. I've said this for a long time. If we don't leverage AI, we will be left behind. So, and we're not going to be left behind. We have like AI AMM bots. They're almost like AI. I mean, they're like they're machines. And you guys got audio. Cool. Ray Doku, how's it going, man? Hex Elvis, you like the notifications. That's cool. And Joel, thank you for acknowledging that you can hear me. And yeah, please hit the likes. Why? So the algorithm will get this in front of more people, especially people that aren't on PulseChain yet. The last time was, oh yeah, I know, man. I kind of knew that. I just didn't want to. I was going to let you figure it out. And you did. I knew you would. It gets busy over here when we're streaming and doing spaces and stuff. I mean, sometimes I can find time to do stuff, but other times it's like, and I don't even have a lot of subs. We're not really hot yet. It could get really intense. And I want that, but yeah, I'll just be ready for it. Hey, Banana, rate's about to get cut. I do believe so. I 80% believe so. Mailer's about to land. Interpol about to get, is it really? Hey, give me some information about, if you have any, about Interpol, William, if you would, please. RH marketing engaged and PulseChain to the moon. Absolutely. I think things are about to get exciting. Or as we often say in crypto, interesting. I'm all about interesting. I know you guys are too. Let's get some interesting stuff going. Because right now, it's not very interesting. We're here for interesting. Actually, it's a little green today. Yeah, man. we got a 5% move, whatever, if you want to call it that. We have a 2% move on Bitcoin, 2% on Ethereum, 2+, of course. 1.5 on WPLS, 6 on PDI, a little green, like 0.5% for pTGC, and UFO is down just about 2%. Hex is up 1%. PHEX, that is. EHEX is up 3%. Yeah, it's nice to see a little green candle. Maybe this will continue through the day and maybe even through the week. I do hope so. I'm ready for it. And honestly, I enjoy the pump times and the let's get ahead of ourselves. And I enjoy the volatility, the volume. Let's save that. I want to look at Secreto Bank when we get to that point, and because I'm curious about the volume, because I bet it's low. Actually, I looked at UFO this morning. It was like $25,000. Somebody reached out. They're like, "How come I just started an LP and I haven't seen any rewards yet?" I'm like, "That's because the volume is so low. And there's a threshold that it needs to go over before it's going to trigger the rewards to everybody's wallets, and so it obviously has not triggered because the volume's low." But it's going to pick up. I am confident of that. So if you landed on this video and you don't, like, what is this video about? This is about the Grace currencies on the PulseChain. These are 2 tokens that are bonded with the best tickers on the chain. We call them an index. They're index tokens of the best assets on the chain. And this chain, PulseChain, is the brainchild of Richard Hart, genius founder of Hex token that did a 10,000x in the previous cycle. And we hypothesize, we don't just wish, we really believe that this chain is going to blow the doors off of any of the competition. And there is competition, but PulseChain, like, if you want to look at it this way, Ethereum is like the chain for institutions. And I did say it's a fork of Ethereum, right? PulseChain, Ethereum is the chain for institutions. PulseChain is your chain. It's the people's chain. That's what it's designed to be. Richard Hart has been building essentially a walled garden. We've got the L1, we've got the DEX, we've got the incentive token. What else we have over here? Oh, we've got the stores of value. Notice the plural there. I mean, it used to be Hex, but I think I'll spare my words. I don't want to get in trouble. This is being recorded. But we have, in the Grace currencies, we have a store of value. And those are pTGC and UFO. We're going to go through both of those. We're going to start with pTGC and work our way through. But they are stores of value that pay you passively while you hold them. And that you don't have to do anything, A, to receive the rewards. They just come into your wallet automatically. And B, you don't have to do anything to, what is B? I had an AB, but it escaped me. You don't have to do anything to get the rewards. They come into your wallet automatically. And you can sell the rewards if you want to. And because they're bonded with the best tickers on the chain, the ones that I mentioned, Pulse, PulseX, Inc., PDI, all the core of the hexes, all the core assets we're bonded with very, rather thickly. When those assets run, when PulseChain runs, the Grace currencies are going to run even harder. And that has been proven. And what also has been proven to me over the past several weeks is that I got to be careful because I don't want to offend anybody in this. I got to be cognizant that this is being recorded. I do not want to be slandered all over the internet. And we, the Grace currencies, desire to win, but we desire to do so honorably. we don't need to put down other tokens. If you think that I'm putting down Hex and PulseX because we're outperforming them, I'm not. I'm just stating facts. And I will say right from the beginning that we wouldn't even be on this chain if it weren't for Richard Hart. We love Richard Hart, PulseX, all those tokens. Now I forgot where I was going with that thought. But I was saying that it has been impressed upon me in the last few weeks that a lot of the competition, if you want to put it that way, on the chain, if you go look at their charts, they might be doing fine in USD, but maybe not as well as the grays in terms of WPLS. And that is a performance against WPLS, the L1 PLS, is an important key performance indicator. That's like anymore. That's the only one I'm looking at, man. When it comes to PulseChain, if you're I'm telling you, man, the Grace currency's got them. Show me another one. Show me one that's outperforming pTGC in performance against PulseChain. You might want to do it privately. This is a pTGC and UFO stream. We try to keep it that way. But I do want to know, genuinely, if you got one that has a history, not one that came out last week. You know what I mean? So let's have a look at this. And I want to show you guys first off, and this is going to be a presentation. I do it twice a week, all about the Grace currency. So you oldie but goodie guys that hang around, appreciate you being here. But I understand if you're going to be dinking around on your phone. But guys, if you're new, and you guys can pick up some stuff too. But if you're new, drop any questions in the chat. I will not embarrass you. I heard a good quote last week. It was, there are no stupid questions, just stupid answers. I will try to give you accurate answers. And speaking of answers, looks like we have some questions here or statements. And before we get into what I really want to show you, which is important, we have a 6 to 7 month window for alt season. Exciting. Yeah. Is it possible to check how much pTGC is waiting to be burned from unclaimed rewards in locks? That is possible. That is possible. I checked at the top 10 wallets, and there was quite a bit. But really, in light of the overall ecosystem, I mean, there was like maybe hundreds of millions. But as far as because there's 291 billion tokens, it was like, what would the impact be? If people claimed their locking rewards and burnt the tokens, there would be an impact, but not big. Not big. That is a good question. Is it possible to find it? Yes. It might be a challenge getting data on PulseChain. If you talk to Kong about how he built lookintoptgc.com, it can be challenging. Yeah, man. Hey, Landscraper. Good to see you. You got an interesting name, man. Landscraper. Interesting. Makes me think you're like in the construction industry. Maybe we're driving some kind of heavy equipment. All right. Let's look at pTGC. Watch this. Let's see, is UFO in the green yet? No. It will be. Okay, guys, this is important. Watch this. Right now, and this is mostly for new people, but this is this trick, and it's, for lack of a better word, I call it a trick. This trick was so impactful to me. Like I said, it's a key metric that will help you perhaps discern between projects that you want to get into and the grays, or projects you're considering getting into. I'm close, huh? Cool. So what you want to do is whenever you pull up a token on Dex Screener, it is automatically going to be, how do you put it? It's going to be in USD. Okay. But what you can do, and this is, look, pTGC is up and to the right in USD. And I'm not going to show any other tokens, although I could. But what you want to do is flip the chart from USD to look at the token in terms of WPLS. WPLS is the L1. Most tokens on PLS are going to outperform PLS, right? Or at least that's their desire. PLS is going to have its run. It's going to do well, but it's a coin. PLS is a coin, but the tokens that are on the chain, on the coin's chain, if that makes sense, should outperform. And the way you can do that is flip the chart to WPLS. Now let's see, let's put it on the monthly like it was in USD and look at the performance of pTGC against PLS in the monthly. It's up and to the right. Let's just take a quick measurement from like the second month, which would have been November. It's up and to the right 70,000%. That's I believe that's a 700x from the beginning of November to present, a 70,000% up and to the right. And like I said, I could show us other tokens, but we are not here to put other people down. People will find out about pTGC when it's their time. Tell them about it. Or we're literally like the elephant in the room. Most everybody on PulseChain knows about the Gray's currencies. Some people haven't found out yet, but my heart honestly is more toward, I got to get my notes, is more leaning toward finding people that are outside, that aren't on PulseChain yet, and bringing those people in. Hey guys, let me know if my audio has issues. Okay. Let me know if you would, please. I got to get my notes in front of me. Just bear with me a minute. Just a minute to win it. So we talked about, we reviewed the charts. Everything's looking decent. We didn't get into the charts as much as I normally do, and that's fine. Everything's kind of slow right now. I don't think anybody would disagree. But I do. So this is how it's going to work. We're going to start out with some of my slides. Then we're going to go into the D app, the decentralized application, and talk about how you can leverage pTGC and UFO to make passive income. And we'll go through them in order. We'll spend most of the time on pTGC. We'll flip into UFO, and then we'll spend some. We'll go through some more slides that I've got, and most of those slides are more along the line of giving us some idea where we could go when PulseChain finally runs. So that's kind of the outline of what we're doing today. Yeah. Okay. So this first slide is from my buddy Slade. And what it does is it highlights the performance of pTGC and UFO against the core tickers, the core RH tickers on PulseChain, which are Hex, PulseX, Inc., and Pulse. And you can see pTGC and UFO are both outperforming those tokens, and we're going to see the performance at the end. Also, I just happen to love this slide. I can actually put it at the end of the presentation, but that's neither here nor there. That is just I guess it's a teaser to show everybody, new and old, what might be coming when PulseChain runs. Okay, pTGC and UFO are an index. I told you guys this. They're an index of the best tokens on the chain. And what that means is by holding an index is like by holding one asset, you hold several others, like a piece of several others. That's exactly how pTGC and UFO work, because they're bonded with the RH stickers and all that. And let's see. I had another thought. I'm having a fleeting thought day. Check this out, guys. So here are many of the assets that we're bonded with. pTGC and UFO in the middle, and then some of the assets that we're bonded with on the outside. And of course, the 4 core, in addition to other tokens. And a lot of tokens want to be bonded with us because they have an idea where we're going also. But pTGC and UFOs, their thickest liquidity bond is with each other. The thickest pair is pTGC and UFO. And after that, it's pTGC and WPLS, or UFO and WPLS. And then it goes on from there. And you can see that. We're actually going to take a look at it right now. We're going to see the volume too. You can see that at Secreto Bank. SecretoBank.com. I'll drop it in the chat for you guys. And by the way, let's get this going. If you guys, let me get this. If you guys haven't seen this video, let me know if you can. I think you guys can click on links in here. Let me know if you can't, if you would, please. But go boost the algorithm on that video, guys. It is lit. I dropped it like 25 minutes ago. Let's see. I'm going to look for the number of impressions. And it has 48 impressions. Not bad. Actually, let me go to the main account because I think it might have more there. Bear with me, guys. I get excited. This is marketing. Okay, cool. Perfect. Thank you, Charles. You guys can, this is marketing. Those videos, it's got 314 impressions. Yeah, man. He's going to do some funny ones too, I think. And those funny ones, whatever they are, it's all AI generated. They could go stinking viral. But that one right there, guys, I listened to it twice, had me hollering, man. I'm telling you, man, there ain't nobody around. I think. It's so good. All right. Hey, SecretoBank.com. Watch, guys. This is SecretoBank.com. What you do is you click on volume, select your pair address, or select your token to see it's 118. I think I refreshed it actually earlier today. So what you can do is you can actually select between pTGC or UFO, check the volume, and it's at 110, basically 110. And here's our total liquidity. And you know what's interesting? I got to get with, hey, if Snowflake Society, if you're watching, we got to get the pTGC UFO pair back in there. I don't know why it was taken down. And like I checked the volume this morning, guys, on UFO. This is UFO. And it was 25,000. So it's up a bit, which is good. And its liquidity is thicker. If you see 9.5 versus 8.7, it's a little thicker. But anyhow, that's where you can see the total volume across all the pairs. You can sort by, if you just click there, you can sort by, there's the biggest pair. No, I'm sorry. It is the pTGC UFO pair. It's just not showing right now for some reason. Dex Screener, I think, pulled it down for some, I don't know why. I just heard that this morning. And then, Burn, and then PulseX, Hex, and pTGC. Look, there's $1 million LP with Hex and Atropa, Teddy Bear. Yeah, man, we got it going on. And then UFO, same, thick liquidities, $2.5 million LP with PLS. And what do you think is going to happen when Pulse 10X's, that LP will be worth $25 million. If it 100X's, $250 million. If it 400X's, that'll be a $1 billion LP. Only it'll be more because it's always being added to. Every single transaction, we're going to see every single transaction adds to that LP. That's at SecretoBank.com. So those are all the pairs. Those are the pairs that formulate the index, if you will. Okay. So what's the difference between? I'm just reading my notes. What's the difference between pTGC and UFO? Let's find out. This slide has been updated. I updated all my slides this morning, all the ones that needed it. pTGC, it's a 5% fee on token for every buy, sell, and transfer. So buy it from a wallet you want to keep it on. Just beware. If you do, as part of your security, if you do need to transfer it, just know you're going to pay 5%. It's only 5%. And remember, we are here for X's, not 5%. Okay. So it's a 5% fee, which goes to the protocol and the community, which actually is just entirely community, if you will. So 5% stays in the system. It does not go to a developer or a founder wallet. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go to Prairie Banana. It stays in the system. pTGC's LP is burned. It is not just locked. It's not liquid. It's not locked. It's completely burned, inaccessible to anybody with no admin keys, except we can use it to buy and sell and transact through, which is the best form of LP, which is another thing you got to check out when you're checking out other projects. 12.6% of the tokens have been burned of the total supply. Started with 333.333.333.333, something like that, billion tokens, 12.6% of which have been burned. There are 16,000 wallets. UFO is a 6% fee on transaction token. Its LP is provided by users, you and me. We're going to talk all about that. It has been out for 16 months. 8.4% has been burned, and it has 6,200 wallets. UFO is undervalued right now. You can get 6 times more of the UFO supply versus pTGC supply. That's how it's working right now. All right, I'm going to use my highlights. Today, I'm going to use my highlights so I can get right on track to where I need to be. Okay, let's talk about the fees. The 5% for pTGC and 6% for UFO. This is how it is broken up. 2% for pTGC. 2% goes to the DAO, 1% to holders, and 1% to stakers. 0.5% burns pTGC, just reducing the supply. 0.5% is added to the pTGC PLS pool, and those PLS, as we said, those PLP tokens are burned. And then for UFO, 3% goes to LP providers, 1% to holders, 1% burns UFO, and 1% burns pTGC. So you'd think that the LP providers would be crushing it, right? And making more than the holders. They're not. They're not. If you hold UFO, you're actually making about, well, last time we estimated it, they're making about 5 times more APY than LP providers. And I really should update that metric. But if it's anything close, the holders are crushing it. Even if it's double, how about a double on your APY? That's what holders are at least, probably, not financial advice, bringing in. So that's the fees, guys. So what the thing that got me most excited about this ecosystem when I first came in was, aside from the enthusiasm of the community, was the sheer fact that we are paid every day, regardless of users, pTGC and UFO users. We're paid every day as long as there are transactions on the network in the pairs that we are bonded with, because there are these things called, these machines called AMM bots that go in and balance out all of the pairs. Whenever a pair goes out, when somebody makes a transaction, and let's say somebody makes a transaction in the Hex PLS pair, and that changes the price of Hex. Let's say it drops the price of Hex. Well, the pTGC Hex price is still where it was, but the Hex PLS price, that Hex dropped. So the AMM bots need to go in and balance that pair out. And what they will do is they will buy into and and sell out of both of those pairs to make them balanced. And when they do that, they're paying the fee. And the reason that is so exciting to me is because that happens day in and day out without fail. It will never end as long as we have a successful blockchain. And if you've read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like I have, you know that one of the things that you want out of life, especially if you're developing these gray hairs like I am, one of the most attractive things you can come across in this world, one of the things you're going to look forward to for your financial freedom, which we're all here for, is passive income. The rich look for assets. They want assets, cash flowing assets. The middle class and the poor, this is coming right out of the book, guys. The middle class and the poor are looking for doodads, stuff. They want an RV, they want a boat, they want a four-wheeler, all that stuff on payments. But the rich want that. They want assets, and an asset is anything that cash flows. pTGC, UFO. AMM bots. Literally paying that fee. On UFO and pTGC, AMM bots are balancing out those pairs. The more volume we have, the more work they have to do, the more we as holders will be rewarded, as stakers, as LP providers. We be rewarded by those AMM bots. It's genius. pTGC was the first protocol to ever do this. What? Leverage the AMM bots. What's so special about that? It is the one thing we solved the rarity of cryptos by making them deflationary. Okay, we got that. That was pretty easy. Just make them deflationary supply. But how do you create demand? Well, you can send out postcards. That works. You can tell everybody and his brother. That works too. But what the Grays did is built in demand, and it's like automated mechanical buy pressure. It's like, yeah, man. You talk about okay, when the founder discovered this, when he figured it out in his head, he said it sent a chill down his spine, and I believe it, man. You know, it would send a chill down anyone's spine if you figured out the missing piece that even Richard Hart hadn't figured out yet. We got it. We were first to market, and there have been many others. One thing you need to understand in the Grays currencies is that, like we talked about volatility and volume. Well, there's another factor in there, which is price. So let's say you have $1 million in volume, and we had $100,000 in volume on pTGC today. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, about 100,000. Let's say you have $1 million. Hey, Red Squirrel, it's good to see you. Let's say you have $1 million in volume on pTGC and UFO. This applies to both. $1 million in volume at today's price. You as a holder are going to receive rewards based on your bag size for that amount of volume and the price. Why the price? Well, because how can I explain that? Well, let's just put it this way. As price goes up, we'll just make it very simple. As price goes up, of that $1 million in volume, less, you're going to be rewarded the same dollar amount, but in fewer tokens as price goes up. Same dollar amount, same value, fewer tokens. As price comes down, like let's say we're down, and we are, I think, considering where we might be going, we are earning more tokens now while price is down than at any given volume level than when price goes up. When price goes up, fewer tokens, same value, fewer tokens. So what does that mean for the tokens that you're stacking up now? Let's say we do a 10x, and let's say you earned 10 reward tokens and reflections for holding pTGC and UFO. You earn 10 tokens. Well, at a 10x, those 10 tokens would be worth 10 times more. It's pretty simple. pTGC and UFO have alien tech, and I should just forward to this slide. I need to rearrange my slide deck. All right, let's look at this. pTGC and UFO, yeah, I just need to fix that. Have their own built-in superpowers and alien techs. pTGCs, and this is all pretty much my terms. Okay, some I got from others. pTGC, hey Mando, there has math. You're gonna have to restate that so I understand what you're getting at. pTGC, it's alien tech. It has two. It's the AMM bots and more going in than can come out. And I'll show you guys an illustration for that. It has one superpower, and that is the locking. And it is user-centric. Like you as a user, the locking superpower is user-centric. UFO has one alien tech. You notice how it flips? pTGC has two, and then UFO has one, but they're balanced. UFO's alien tech is, of course, it's the AMM box because it works the same way. But its superpower, it has two superpowers. One, its thickest LP is with pTGC. We refer to pTGC as the mothership. And its second superpower is the share rate, which is, again, user-centric. You benefit from the share rate superpower, and we are going to get into that and talk about it in enough depth for you to understand it. Hopefully. Oh yeah. So let me get on track here. Okay, we talked about that and we skipped ahead. See, it's going to throw me off, but it's all right. We'll work through it. All right, I really want to emphasize this superpower here, which is, and this is the pTGC. I kind of go in order because pTGC came out first and then UFO. So like in my mind, it's easier for me to just start with pTGC stuff and then UFO. So this is another alien tech. We just covered it. And it's that there is more going into the system than can come out. So if you guys have seen this slide before, you've noticed that it has improved. So the fee flow, 3% in, 2% out. Do you see that? I mean, that's some really easy math. 3 minus 2 equals 1. And that's a net 20%. See that call out bubble? Net 20% retained in the system with each trade. And by trade, I mean it could be a user or an AMM bot. So you have over on the left, the green, 0.5% going to the LP, 0.5% burning the tokens, and 2% going to the DAO. All of that stuff is ecosystem centric. And then you have the 2% to holders and stakers. That is economic energy that could be extracted from the system, but we have some very diamond-handed holders over here in the grays. So, but nevertheless, you can see that 20% of the fee remains in the system. And what does that mean? That means we have an ever-increasing price floor. We literally have a it has yet to be proven. So I kind of say this with a I don't even want to say hesitation. We have seen this token proven, but not with we're missing one key ingredient, which is PulseChain. We haven't seen PulseChain in its full glory yet. But you got more going in than can be extracted. Oh yeah, I gotcha. When PulseChain goes, the pTGC, that is a tongue twister, and I still haven't got it. Math explodes. I know it, Mando. Nobody understands. Nobody really understands where this thing could go when PulseChain runs. But we haven't been there yet. That's what I was getting to a moment ago. We haven't been there yet, but we got strong hunches. We have strong cause to believe because we do have a history. We do have a history. And I'm going to show you some of the history in the slides that we're going to review. Yeah, good times coming. So what separates pTGC from other tokens? Thank you, TS Pedro. Hit the like button. Just hit it for the grays. Hit it for PulseChain. Hit it for crypto. Yeah, man. Get that algo going. What separates pTGC from some of the other tokens out there? Well, it's the DAO. It is the DAO. The DAO is a magnificent tool for helping to drive the tokens into success. And the DAO is comprised of anybody that is a staker. If you hold pTGC and you stake, you can vote on every single proposal. You just connect your wallet to the pulsetgc.com, go to the DAO section, and you can vote. You just pay the transaction in your wallet and you can vote. You got to be a staker. If you're a top 100 staker, you can submit a proposal and you can see how many tokens you got to have to be in the top 100. And I think it's about, I want to say it's minimum of about 200 million, 100 million, 200 million, somewhere in there. But you can see all that on the DApp. That is what the DAO is what separates pTGC from other tokens, because the DAO allows pTGC to be like a ship on the sea versus a train on a track. A train on a track, if there's an obstacle in front of it, it either has to stop or crash through the obstacle. And if a train crashes through an obstacle, it could lead to a derailment, a very disaster. But a ship on the sea, it can circumnavigate any obstacles. It can just do a 180. It can circumnavigate. It can do not a 180. It can just go around and keep on going, which is what pTGC can do. The DAO gives pTGC the ability to pivot with market changes, and we do. If I may include myself in the DAO, we do. We pivot with the market. We take advantage of the market. The pTGC DAO has a fat treasury of Pulse just sitting on the side. Like any good investor will hold USDC on the side to take advantage of opportunities. Well, our DAO does the same thing, and we're just waiting. We are actively using that DAO treasury fund also for burning tokens, burning pTGC specifically, and also sometimes adding more LP. Like, for example, if Hex were to suddenly, somebody sells a huge bag of Hex, or a few people do, and it dumps the price, and we'd be like, we could really use a boost in our Hex LP, and that it looks like this is an opportunity to do that. Well, we can submit a proposal and take advantage of that opportunity on the spot. So that's the DAO. I love the DAO. I'm a big fan. And like I said, everybody that's a staker is part of the DAO. With pTGC, by the way, we're talking about staking. If you stake your tokens, you're still going to see them in your wallet. You're going to think that you can send them where you want and all that stuff. We get the question a lot in the chat. I'm trying to sell my tokens, or I'm trying to send them, and it's not working. That's because they're staked. Like 99.999% of the time is because the tokens are staked. So if you run into that problem, check and make sure that they're not staked, and then ask in the chat, and they'll tell you that they're probably staked. Then go confirm that they're staked. But you're going to see your tokens in your wallet if you're staked, because we believe in self custody. We don't want those tokens staked in a smart contract because that just becomes a big honeypot for misbehaviors, to put it kindly. All right, now, let's see. Do we want to talk about locking tiers? Oh, hold up. Oh, we didn't even, hold on, guys. Just bear with me. I get off track, even though I had this all numbered and in order. We talked about that. We're going over the DApp. Yeah, okay. And I got to keep it highlighted, so I'm on track. Good day, Condor. It's good to see you, man. Appreciate everybody being here. And this, by the way, this takes about an hour and a half, sometimes up to even 2 hours. But I think we're keeping a pretty good pace today. Let's go to the DApp. It's PulseTGC.com. Let me put this in the chat. PulseTGC. Don't go to any other sites. You can go to look into pTGC.com. That's another one. Let me drop that in there. pTGC.com. That's a legit DApp there also. Just be mindful of security. Make sure you're going to trusted sites. We don't want anybody getting wrecked. So look at the no, we're going into. We are going to do some moon math too after we go through the dApps and all that. Let me get a swig of water. Hold on. All right, get pulled up. This is PulseTGC.com. We're going to walk through the pTGC section, and then we're going to, this is actually the UFO section. And then we're going to go to the UFO section. We'll come back to it. So here's the DAO I just mentioned. Here is where we're going to go to interact with the pTGC contract. Select staking. And of course, you will connect your wallet. Let me get another wallet connected. Bear with me, guys. Okay, so you can see the amount of pTGC that you have. Well, this is global right here. pTGC staked, locked, and then pTGC total earned from holding. This is the total earned from holding, staking, and locking. So you can quick do an APY estimate right there if you wanted to, because actually, you guys, this wallet right here is my experimental wallet. I set up an even 1 million pTGC and locked it out 10 years as an experiment so we could gather data from it. And it has proven to be very, very useful. And so, I mean, those numbers for holding, staking, and locking, that's from the very first. I mean, I did it all in the same day. So it's like really good data. Haven't messed with it except for I reset it in February. But it doesn't mess up these numbers right here. These numbers right here are the total for the whole, for its whole life, if you will. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you guys hold pTGC. We'll actually talk about how to buy the tokens toward the end of this, like at the end of this. But for now, we're going to assume that you hold these tokens. So you can make money with pTGC 3 different ways: by holding, staking it, or locking it. If you hold it, that's all you're going to earn, reflections. You're going to earn reflections. And I'm not belittling reflections. They're great. You can earn reflections. Then you can stake. If you stake, you're going to earn both reflections and staking rewards. And then you can lock it. If you lock it, you are still going to earn staking rewards and reflections. Okay, makes sense. So 3 ways you can earn. We're going to run through it. So if you wanted to stake your pTGC, you would select the stake button and select however much of the balance that you have in your wallet that you want to stake. Confirm it in your wallet, and you will have staked pTGC. It'll be reflected. Let's see. Total. It'll be shown right here under total staked. When you are, okay, let me back up. If you're holding pTGC, the reflections come straight into your wallet and start earning more reflections. If you're staking pTGC, the rewards stay in the contract until you claim them. So these tokens right here, claimable pTGC earned from staking, are held in the contract until I claim them. And when I claim them, they go to my wallet and begin earning reflections. Now this is from this is rewards from a stake, the 1 million pTGC that is staked. I can withdraw the stake if I want to. We got to spend a little time on that. Okay, let me back up. You can have one stake per wallet. You can claim those tokens, at 7,321 tokens. They will go to your wallet and start earning reflections. But if you wanted to, you could add them to your stake. One stake per wallet. If you withdraw or end your stake, and by the way, there's no time limit for your stake. You can stake today and stake tomorrow. Just know you're going to pay a 1% penalty on your principal when you end your stake. So it's on your principal. We estimate the ROI time on your 1% is anywhere from 100 to 200 days, all depending on price appreciation and volume. Oh, what else was there about staking? You can withdraw. You can, let's see, you can claim your tokens any day. You could claim them tomorrow. You can claim them. Usually I do it about once every few weeks, but really if I could do it like this, I would do it every week, but I wouldn't do it any more than that because I've run the numbers and it's really not beneficial to claim any more than it is, but it is beneficial, but the benefit is like if I showed you guys, you would agree. It's like, oh, what's the point? What is the point of claiming every single day to try to leverage the power of compound interest when once a week is just like, it's so much better. Unless you get a big wave. If we had $10 million of volume today, I'd go claim. I'd put that yield right back to work, right? But that's not happening today. So that's staking. That's the second way that you can earn. You can hold to earn reflections, stake to earn staking rewards, and that comes from the 1% of the fee that every person, and every MM bot is paying. It goes to the holders and the stakers. And I think they covered that sufficiently. The third way that you can earn with your pTGC is by locking it. We're going to talk about there are some differences between holding and staking and locking, but let's just go through the mechanics of locking right now and some other things about locking. So this is where, what am I in? This is not, yeah, I got to refresh my screen here. Sometimes the locking doesn't pop up and you got to refresh your screen, just so you know. If you wanted to lock your tokens, they must first be staked. Okay, so they got to be staked first, then you can lock them. And there's a lot to locking, and we're going to talk about it. So just don't go lock up a bunch of tokens without sitting through this presentation first. So you got let's say you staked your tokens, and now you want to lock them. So you click the lock button, and you select however many pTGC you want to lock, and for how long. All right, let's take a quick detour because I said how long. This is what you want to do. You want to go into either the white paper or screenshot this, or where else can you find this? I think you can find this in the Telegram. If you need it, reach out to me directly. I'll get you a copy. But this is the time frames that you can lock your pTGC, anywhere from 90 days out to 10 years. And you see the percentage over there on the right. If you lock for 90 days, you will keep 55% of the rewards that come to your wallet. When you claim the rewards, you will keep 55% and 45% will go to the debt address. If you lock for 5 years, for example, you will keep 80% of the rewards. 20% goes to the debt address. 10 years, you keep 100%. Okay. And there are some tricks, some things to be aware of when it comes to locking. I wouldn't lock, this is me personally, I wouldn't lock necessarily one large bag in a 10-year lock, all aggressive, right? Or any of those frames, any of those tiers. I wouldn't lock a big old bag. I'd break it up, because unless you really need the boundaries of, the threat of, I want to keep these locked up forever, because there is that, what's it called, delayed gratification, and this is a tool for that. But if you want to give yourself an out, then break it up. Another thing is, make note of this, guys. This is a humdinger. If you lock one day into the next higher tier, you will earn from that tier. That's cool. I mean, why would you lock for 10 years if you can just lock for 9 years and, like, let's say 7 days to be safe and be in the 10-year tier? That's what I've done with my locks, is I just backed it up 348 days, because it just makes sense to me. If you do make locks, you can leave them in place forever and ever. You will never be penalized for staying in a lock. But you won't go up to the next tier. Let's say you made a 2-year lock and it's been there for 3 years, and you're not going to start earning from the tier 3. Okay. And there are some other, did we already cover all of that? I think this presentation is getting faster and faster, and that's a good thing. Okay. There are some very big differences between reflections and staking and locking rewards. The first difference is that reflections and staking rewards come to you like more so, I don't know how to put it, but more so contract related. And that's really not a good way to put it. But those AMM bots aren't going to pay you locking rewards. Users buying and selling tokens are not going to pay you locking rewards. The locking rewards come to you based on other users ending their locks early. That's one key thing that we didn't touch on, is that if we all have the ability to end our locks. We can wait until they're mature. We can just leave them in place, no harm, no foul, or we can end them. And then once we end them, we got to unstake them if we want to access those tokens. And then we got to sell them or send them. Okay, so check this out. But if you end them early, you're going to pay a 30% penalty on your principal. All right, I got to remember to get that. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I have thoughts that just fleet my mind. Give me a second. Man, good thoughts. I've done this presentation so many times, you'd think that I have it memorized. JB18, I live in the United States. In answer to your question. Thanks for being here. So, okay, let's just get back and talk about the DApp, the D-app. Okay, the other big thing is that you want to, oh man, give me a second, guys. I got to look at my notes. Yeah, one day in the bin. Okay. Staking and locking. Yeah, I'm very, I want to make sure I hit everything. And I know there are two things. Antarctica. I don't know that anybody lives in Antarctica, man. If anybody that lives in Antarctica, I feel sorry for them. I think people go there for work. Wow. That's a cold place, man. So, okay, before you go lock up a bunch of tokens, think about it. If you need time and you can wait 90 days and just put them into a 90-day lock, go and do that. You're still going to earn 55%. And then at the end of 90 days, have a plan. That's what I did all last year. I locked up my stuff in 90-day locks. And then by the end of the year, when I finally had some time to breathe, I structured my pTGC into different locks. I went really heavy in 10-year locks, and then I did a locking ladder. And I almost call the 90-day locks a little differently because what's neat about the setup is that you can do your 10-year locks, and that's like 10 years. It'll be here before we know it. And then you can do your locking ladder, which is cool. And then you can do a 90-day lock. What would your 90-day lock be? Let's say you took 10% of your bag and put it in 90-day locks. Well, we are here to change our lives. So let's say you set aside 5 or whatever small percentage it is into a 90-day lock, and you're like, that is my change my life bag. That's what mine is. My 90-day locks are just sitting there. They've been mature for several months, and they're just cooking. They're just earning. And at the right time, we're gonna unlock them. Oh, this is the interesting thing. So when people end their locks early, they pay a 30% on their principal. Okay, that's 30%. And then you got to assume, why would they end their lock early unless they're going to move those tokens or sell those tokens? Either way, they got to pay 5%. But before they do that, they got to unstake them 1%, so we're up to 31. And then they got to move them or sell them 5%, 36%. So every time somebody ends their locks early, the lockers are going to benefit from 30%, and then the holders and then the stakers are going to benefit from 6%. If that kind of makes sense. It's an interesting setup. I think we covered everything. Oh, your lock-in rewards. Obviously not. Your lock-in rewards can be accessed at any time. Let's have a look. Right here. See this reward? 3,976 tokens. I can claim those at any time. And again, just like staking rewards, they are sitting in the contract until you claim them. When claimed, they go into your wallet and they immediately begin earning reflections, and you can do whatever you want with those tokens. You can take them home for profit. You could make them into another lock, but you'd have to stake them first. Stake them, make them in another lock. And yeah, I think that's about it, guys. So that's the 3 ways that you can earn with pTGC. Let's move on to UFO. It's a pretty chill day, isn't it? I want to look. I'm addicted to looking at the charts, just so you know. Bitcoin's up over 115,000. That's positive. All right, let's go to UFO. Give me a second. Same DApp, PulseTGC.com. UFO token right there. Click on UFO token. And again, we're assuming that you hold these tokens. Oh, you can do 2 things with UFO. You can hold them to earn reflections, and you can LP. Those are the only 2 things. You can't stake these tokens. But you can hold them. And remember, the holders are making more APY than the LP providers, but there is we're going to talk about it. We talked about it. The superpower. We're just going to break it down further. For UFO, the superpower is the share rates. And I've got an updated illustration too. We're going to see because I got a 1 million UFO experiment too that I was saying on the spaces yesterday. Zen was asking me about my experiment. I literally, this is what I did at the beginning of UFO. I literally took a million UFO and put it onto 2 million actually. Put it onto a wallet. I LP'd 1 million and I left the other million liquid so I could track it, right? Just like I did with the pTGC. At the time, a million UFO was worth $3.20 or something like that. And I was like, this ain't nothing. But crypto is pretty fractional, and it's an even number. But PulseTGC.com is where you're going to go to interact with the UFO contract. Here it is. So you hold UFO and you're already earning reflections in the same manner that you earn reflections in pTGC. They just show up in kind of a spooky alien tech sort of way. But let's say you wanted to LP your UFO with one of the tickers on the DApp. You would select UFO liquidity pools, And by the way, guys, in order to earn from the contract, you need to LP from this dApp or another dApp. Okay. Don't go to PulseX. This is built on top of PulseX, but you need to LP here in order to earn rewards from the UFO volume. You can LP with pTGC, Hex, eHex, Inc, PulseX, Pulse, and pDAI. Those are the 7 tokens that you can LP with. But there are some things that you need to know. The pTGC UFO pool, because UFO came out after pTGC had already been around, you're going to pay the fees for both those tokens going into the LP and coming out. So I have not touched that one. There have been a lot of people that did, and some of them regret it. They're like, whoops, I guess I'll just leave that LP there forever. And like, yeah, good plan. And I've done the math on that too. It's like, you never gonna ROI on that one, man. I mean, it could be years. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a math nerd, but I do nerd out on math. Then the other one is the UFO PLS pool. You will pay the UFO fee on exiting that one, only on exiting. Okay, so back to the dApp. So let's say you wanted to LP UFO PLS. Select Manage Pool, add liquidity. So you're gonna have to have UFO and PLS in your wallet. Select Add Liquidity. Select. You're gonna have to have equal portions of each, right there. Equal portions. Add new liquidity. Sign it in your wallet. And once you've signed, like if you were like me, I would go back to. I would want to go see it, right? So this is where you go. Select UFO token again. UFO PLP rewards. This is where you can see your LPs. UFO PLP rewards. Here are all the LPs, but this is where you can see your rewards for them. Okay, so you see that UFO PLS LP. There it is, right there. That's the one we created. Okay, in theory, it's our thought experiment, but I actually did create one. Okay, so high level view. If you hold UFO in your wallet, this is where you're going to see how much you earned for reflections. If you have an LP, these are your pending rewards down here, the total, and you can claim the total like from all of these by selecting that button right there. But you can select them individually also. Now there is, notice that there is this thing here called a UFO share. You guys need to understand what UFO shares are, so we're going to talk about it. Because they are the superpower. They're one of the superpowers of UFO. The other one is it being bonded with pTGC. UFO shares. Notice I put 1 million UFO into that LP, and I have 1 million UFO shares. If you go to that, we should go. Let's take a detour. Hold on, guys. I was just in here this morning, so it's fresh on my mind, and it's worth the detour to go look at this. We're going to look at. Let's just pull it up, and I can show you how to do it. Because we're going to go look at this LP. Remember, I told you put 1 million. I put 1 million UFO in there. Well, there's not 1 million left anymore. So go to PulseX, select liquidity, V2. And we're going to select the UFO PLS one. Here it is. We're just going to select it. There is 264,520 UFO in that pool. There's 200 in the equal amount, 220,382 of PLS. Remember, I started with 1 million UFO. Okay. But also remember, if you go back to the dApp, there's 1 million UFO shares. So when you enter an LP with your UFO, you will be assigned a UFO share rate, and it's determined by how much UFO you put into the LP. And it's not like if you enter more, you get more UFO shares. There's nothing like that. It's always going to be a 1-for-1. One UFO, one UFO share. A billion UFO, billion UFO shares. Your UFO shares will never change as long as you hold the LP. But you will incur impermanent loss. As you can see, that's like, I don't know what that, like almost 400% impermanent loss or something like that on that LP, because UFO has ran up against Pulse. People valued UFO more than Pulse, so they bought my UFO and they left me with more Pulse. I'm not after the gas token, guys. I like pTGC and UFO. In this instance, I'm sad that I lost my UFO, but my UFO shares have remained unchanged. Why are they important? They determine how much yield I get. Remember the 3% from the UFO transactions that goes to LP providers. That share rate it determines my position of that pool that was receiving of the 3%. And the UFO shares don't change unless you unpair. Like if I unpaired, and I'll show you in this slide here in just a minute, I think. If you unpair, I would be left with the 264,000 UFO. And then if I was like, ooh, I want that share rate back. Well, you're going to have to come up with the difference. And I'll show you that in the slide. Okay. I'm here, Andrew, not queer. John May says, okay. I'm here, not queer. John, you're being funny today. You're being funny. Okay, what makes it? And maybe you guys can help me think of some ways, other ways that UFO stands out. But here are some ways. And we've probably got about 30 minutes left, just so you know, guys. If you hold the token, you keep all the reflections. The yield farmers take no cut. That's a true statement. Everybody that's holding, and this is one of the reasons that holders are earning so much APY, is because of all the tokens that are in LP. The LPs also tend to stay put, like myself included, because if I pulled and the price were to dip, others would jump in and grab A, the cheap tokens, and B, the cheap share rates and their equivalent, right? But it also has, UFO also has 50% more liquidity paired with RH tickers. So that's some of the differences. Those are some of the things that make UFO stand out. It's thick LP. All right, we did that. All right, here's my experiment, guys. And I just updated this yesterday. Check it out. A lot of my slides improved. This one included. UFO unpairing simulation. So, but I multiplied everything by 1,000. So let's say your current UFO shares in a pool were 1 billion. In other words, you put 1 billion UFO into a pool. How much is 1 billion right now? What's the value of 1 billion UFO right now? Let's go find out together. Oh, I gotta pull this down. I learned this from somebody I was watching stream, and maybe somebody will learn from this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. $37 gets you 1 billion tokens. Wow. We've come a long way, baby. $37,000 for that billion tokens. But hey, there are people buying tens of thousands of tokens right now. So you bought 1 billion tokens and you put it into LP. So you had 1 billion shares. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. The current value of that pool, you did this at the same time that I did my 1 million. Okay. We're just factoring all this up by 1,000. So you don't any longer have 1 billion tokens. You got 261 million. And the value of that is about $10,000. Does that make sense? Let's see if it changes from day to day. 261 million, 261. Okay, that's $9,630 right now. and you got, and it equals, you know, it's LP. So you're going to have the same amount in the other side, 224 million PLS. If I unpaired this LP, guys, if I unpaired this LP and I had 261 million UFO in my wallet, and I was like, wait a second, I made a mistake. I want my 1 billion shares back because it was cash flowing for me. I would need to buy 739 million UFO, $29,000 worth, and 648 million PLS, $29,000 worth. Whoa. Whoa. What does that make the value of that share, the share rates that I got? Very, very valuable. Okay. On May 14th, 2024, 1 billion UFO is 3. And this is when we started this LP. May 14th, 2024, a billion UFO was $3,200. And now it's what? 30, what did we say? 36.9 or something like that. So the shares are worth 3 times. The shares are worth 3 times what the tokens are. The UFO share rate is the superpower of, it's one of the superpowers. The other one being it's paired with, that UFO is paired with pTGC. Yeah, guys, those share rates are going to become very, very, very highly sought after. And I wish I could conceptualize and get into a calculator and project the value of those shares. I have tried, and I've tried using ChatGPT to do it. And now that I know that there are higher levels of ChatGPT, I should really undertake that again. But I got to get a project behind me before I can move on to anything else like that. But I would love to be able to price forecast, that sort of thing, and see what the value of UFO shares could be in the future. Because I think they could be just everybody that's holding UFO shares. And by the way, I'm going to tell you guys, you know, we're coming up on my favorite slide of the whole presentation. But I'm going to tell you, like, you're sitting there thinking, well, I missed the UFO shares opportunity. No, you didn't. No, don't. No. Leave that thought behind. We were at the bottom of PulseChain, guys. Yes, you're going to miss that 3x from in the value of share rates, you know, from last May. And we're talking May 2024 to today. Sure. But how many X's do we have in front of us with PulseChain being at its bottom and having not done anything yet? Yeah, man. So perish the thought that it's not worth getting share rates. And as other people, like we just saw on the slide, as other people leave the system, they unpair and take the profits or whatever, it's going to increase your position. And a simple 10x of UFO from here means you need $290,000 for the same UFO share rate. Whoa. Just a 10x. And 100x, 2.9 million. Yeah, man. Shaka's got it nailed down. Somebody likes UFO share rates. And he ain't the only one. There's a lot of, see, the people that have UFO share rates, and we need to stop talking about people that got in early too. The, how did Mando put it? Yeah, I literally have it in a note. The Genesis LPers. Because everybody's, I mean, we're at the bottom. Everybody's having an opportunity to get cheap share rates. That's just a fact. Not to mention, some of those early share rates will pull their LP to sell their tokens, which gives the others a bigger piece of the pie. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. He and I have had this conversation. We may never unpair. We're pretty good. We're pretty good at hodling. Because the UFO, if you didn't notice from the DApp, the UFO pairing pays you in PLS. It's the gas token, which I don't care to hold, but I can do anything I want with the gas token over on PulseChain and elsewhere if I wanted to. And I've done a bit of that. I've bought pTGC with it. I've bought UFO with it. It's an extra step. It is an extra step. But I mean, who wouldn't want more Ethereum? The gas token over on Ethereum or, ETH. Yeah, I love Pulse. I just don't want to hold it. Actually, I do. I thought the idea, I do want to like send some to another wallet just to hold it for long term, right? Because I'm literally not holding any long term. All right, scope out my notes here. Did we already? Yeah, we went over that. Okay, and we went over the DApp. Okay, there's a trick, guys. I want to get this comment up from Shaka first. I never plan on pulling my LP. Ever. Those share rates are gold. People look at UFO a 10x from now. People looking at UFO a 10x from now will think people that LP'd today were super early. Thank you for stating what I've just said a few minutes ago. I think you can say that without blushing as much as I can say it and look you in the eye without blushing. We are early. If you're interested in UFO shares, do it. It's not financial advice. It's what I would do. If I were interested in UFO shares, that's what I would do. Pull the trigger. My favorite saying, guys, is action trumps everything. Action trumps everything. And I always think about, not always, but I think about the guy who heard about Hex but didn't want to download and install MetaMask. He missed it. Heard him on a live stream, whatever. He's like, yeah, I missed Hex because I was too lazy to download and install MetaMask. Wow. Action trumps everything. All right. There is one trick that you can do with your UFO LP, if it ever happens. Like we saw that my experimental LP is down a lot. But if it ever, like if Pulse ever ran up against UFO, or if Inc. ever ran up against UFO, or any of those assets that you're bonded with, you could potentially, and you would have to check in your, like we just did in PulseX, if you have more UFO in the LP than you have UFO shares, you can literally unpair through the DApp, unpair, claim your rewards first, unpair and repair and lock in a higher share rate. I've done it. I did it once with Inc. when it ran up at some point last year. Okay, man, we're cruising, guys. We're gonna skip straight into the moon math, guys. Let me check my slides. Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. Okay, it's moon math time. We're going to look into pTGC.com. If you guys want to subscribe to it, look into pTGC.com. If you want to subscribe, it's $19.99 a month if you use coupon code PB15. That's Prairie Banana. That's my own personal coupon code PB15. Let's do it. This is I think it was the second. Secretobank.com was the first utility that we ever came up with as a community. That was Snowflake Society. And then I think the second one was look into, and that's Kong, Crypto Kong. Let's have a look. Let's just go through the dashboard today. We're going to take a detour through the dashboard. Dashboard right here. Okay, and I will need to log in because I'm not. Here's the burn tracker. We burned 42 billion tokens worth $29 million. Wouldn't you like to have those tokens in your wallet? Woohoo! Me too. Me too. But nobody can. They're in the burn address. We burned 10,000 in the last 15 minutes. Since we've been on stream in the last hour and a half, we've probably burned 100 million. No, I mean 100,000. But check this out, guys. Every single token that is in the burn address will never earn another reflection or staking reward ever again. Every single token that's in that burn address. And what does that mean for you as a holder and as a staker? Well, because you have a deflationary supply, and let's say you have a fixed, it's really not fixed because it's always inflating through reflections. And if you're staking through staking rewards, and if you're locking through locking rewards, your principal is always inflating while the circulating supply is deflating. And what that means is that you're not only, let's say you earn 10 tokens this month for staking and holding. Next month, you're going to earn 11 because you could earn 11 because that circulating supply reduces, causing more rewards to go to the holders. And the more it's like you start slowly expanding and then you just accelerate. Yeah, that's how it works. It's a bit of a mind bender, but do you guys understand that if you hold your principal, you continue to earn more rewards and your position inflates relative to the circulating supply. So you can go, like, let's say you hold 9 squid positions. You're like, man, I'll never get that dolphin position. Yeah, you will. I mean, I think maybe if you hold long enough, you probably will just by holding become a dolphin, or the next go gain another sea creature league. Now, will you go from a single squid to a full dolphin? Whoa. Wow. That's a thought. I don't know. Let's go back and look at the dashboard. Here you have your price, and you guys, so this is a paid for site, but the dashboard is free and the DApp is free. I was laughing at John May. He says this every time. Oh, no. I take that back. I thought you were talking about your locking, John May. John May usually always says, I'm locked, whatever, 10 years. And he is. Unless I'm mistaken, John, there's somebody that always does that. It's so funny. And you can do it, dude, because it's motivating. I'm about 99.999% sure pTGC and UFO will 1000x or more. Just saying. That is very highly likely and possible. That's possible. That's possible. We'll see in the moon math. Hey, see ya, Shaka. Hey, make sure you go look at PTD's Zen's post from Twitter and check out that video if you hadn't yet, and send it around. You're staying locked. I would too. Don't early end lock unless you want to reward me. All right, so back to the market metrics. You got your volume right here, 24-hour volume, total liquidity, transactions, pulse price. Oh, that's in terms of pulse. Circulating supply. And here's the 7-day average of volume. We're up 180% from the previous 7 days. That doesn't make sense. But I'm not going to argue with it. And then if you scroll down, we're 14x to a penny. And this is the fee allocation for the last for these time periods. Something went wonky here. Give me a second. All right. In the last 24 hours, $6,500 have been collected. In the last 180 days, 2.7 million. We burned. So if you click 180 days, and I don't think this is available in the free version. So let's go back to 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, we burned $650 worth of pTGC, and then the liquidity, Dow, funds, and all that. Same for UFO, guys. You can scroll down, and you can see the supply, the price, volume, liquidity. Look, the volume is increasing, guys. It was 25 this morning, 29 when we started. It's 31 now. I like to round up. We're 271x away from a penny. What else do we have? Here is the fee allocation for 24 hours, and that's where all the money was distributed. We're all going to get blown away, but in a good way. I believe so, John. I do believe so. And we are about to see what John is talking about here. We're going to do the moon math. Let me log in really quickly. Scratch my noggin. We're at an hour and a half. This is good. We're going to be done soon. So we can all go about our day. We're going to look at 3 calculators. The moon math, and then the reflections, and the locking. Watch this, guys. The moon math calculator is everybody's favorite. All right, John, I want to ask you. Everybody else gives me numbers too low. Don't jack it up just because I said that, but how many X's do you think Pulse going to do? Did you already say that? All right, give me a number. Otherwise, I'm going to use the one you already put in here above. All right, guys, you ready for this? You might want to sit down like I am. First, we got to explain. First, we got to go to the moon math calculator. We're going to get blown away in a good way. All right, X multiplier. Because, okay, interesting tidbit. We all say Hex did a 10,000X its first cycle. It did. It did. But the rest of the story is, remember Paul Harvey? The rest of the story is that Hex did 1,000X. Ethereum did a 10X. 10 times 1,000 is 10,000. That's called the X multiplier. How do you put it? I'm not the best at explaining this, but when the blockchain that Hex was on did a 10X, and then Hex did 1,000X, you multiply the two together, and Hex did a 10,000X. That's basically how it works. If you want the long explanation on it, you can literally put it into ChatGPT. It'll give you a better explanation. Sorry. And you can also come onto our spaces and ask Zen or into our voice chat. I'm not going to be the best at articulating all of that. I just know that it works. I'm like, it blows my mind. I like, how does that even compute? Yes, I have a hard time figuring that out, but it works. And I'm not going to argue with ChatGPT and Zen. When they both agree, I'm like, okay, I believe it by faith. Some things you do need to believe by faith. So in the last year, pTGC is up against the L1 30X. That's pretty good. Let's say the bull runs over in 6 months. And John's, are you going to let me know how many X's Pulse going to do? Or I'll just use the 1,000X. Let's say bull runs over in 6 months. PulseChain runs up 1,000X, and pTGC in that time runs up 15X because half a year. So that'd be 15, 100. I know why you put 100 in there. I know, because 100 times 15 is enough. Watch, guys. Here we go. You're going to see. All right, we're going to select the pTGC PLS pair. We're going to do an X factor of 15. 15X. And then 100X on Pulse. Calculate. It's going to be a lot, guys. All right, remember, we're at 306 right now. pTGC, we'll see it right down here. Calculate. Right now, it's at 307. It would accelerate to $1. $1.04. 1,500X. If that happened, just based on math, guys, don't get mad. No reason to get mad. It's just math. If that happened, if we had a 15X on Pulse of pTGC against Pulse, and mind you, again, we're 30X against Pulse in the last year, and Pulse does a modest 100X or really good. Okay, it's 100X. That's good. That's good. The average layer one does like 700 or 800 though, and who knows? We will find out. Hex might do another 10,000X again. Just saying. Yeah, I know, man. Whoa. If Richard Hart really wants bragging rights, woo! You know, you're gonna fact check me because I tried. Okay, we'll do that, man. I tried to figure this out because somebody told me that there have only been 8 tokens that have gone into a second cycle and reached a previous all-time high. Only 8. And of course, that's going to be included Bitcoin, Ethereum, what else? Whatever else there is. But that only leaves room for 6. And I could not figure it out using AI. If you guys can find out, let me know, man. What are those tokens, or what is the true number? How many tokens have gone into the second cycle and got a new all-time high? That would be amazing if Hex would do another. There's no other token that's done 10,000x 2 cycles in a row. That would be incredible. It blows my mind just thinking about it. Okay, let's do UFO. All about passive income. I love your name, dude. Yes, you found it. How long have you been in, man? If you don't mind. How long have you been in the Grace currencies? So let's do UFO. You want, and I'll let you pick a number. All about passive. Well, how many X's do you think Pulse can do? And you can even pick the X multiplier. Otherwise, I'll just put numbers in. You got to be fast with the keyboard. Sorry. We're going to do UFO. So what you do is you select UFO Pulse. 8 months. Good deal, man. That puts you in at the turn of the year or about December. Okay. Yeah, dude. You know what's amazing, guys? And this isn't just only for all about passive income, but there were people getting in December that thought that they were getting in late. And I bet all about you were the same mindset when I got in, I thought I missed it. I'm still going to get in because I want to take action. And now with every passing month, I'm in even earlier. And I guarantee you feel the same way. With every passing month, you're in earlier. That's cool, man. Just getting caught up in the notes here. 100x. You got it, man. That way it's kind of apples to apples, you know? You're all L1s do at least 100x, at least. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it, man. We're going to do the same. So we're on the UFO Pulse pair, X factor of 15x, and then 100x on UFO on Pulse. And by the way, guys, and this is for everybody, is that it would be the same number of X's. You guys can do this. Good deal, man. You guys can do this on your own. Just pick an X factor and the number of X's that you think Pulse can do and multiply it times the price. It's just this calculator does it for us. So we'll calculate. It's going to be a course of 1500x, a 5-cent UFO. 5-cent UFO. And that DCA that you're doing every day, dude, that's paying you passively, would just swell. Wouldn't that just swell into something massive? That's the Moon Math calculator. Okay, we're done with those scenarios. Let's go over to the reflections calculator. We're going to select reflections. Okay, does anybody have a bag size that you want me to put in? Because yeah, I know, man. 5-cent UFO. Put a bag size of pTGC and then UFO. Just let me know which ones that you want me to put into this calculator. Let me add it. Pull it up here. Otherwise, I'm just going to select 100 million to make it easy. And you guys can do your own math, right? So this calculator is going to calculate for you the amount of reflections you would earn based on this bag size at a certain volume. Let's say, and we have had $2 million volume days in pTGC already at the bottom of the chain, like back in December and such, when all about passive income was getting in. So 10 million, it's bullish. I think it's possible that we'll hit it at least one day on this cycle. So if you had $10 million in volume and you got 100 million, that's 3 dolphin positions in your bag, you would earn $33 every day. Not a lot, right? But as the value of these tokens increases, that would increase. Your monthly yield would be let's call it 1.5 million pTGC. That's a big deal. 1.5 million pTGC. I'd love to have that kind of yield monthly. You know what I mean? Your yearly $12,303. And if price goes up, the value, let's say price does a 2x, that would be a $24,600 bag. Let's do UFO. But with UFO, we're going to increase it to 500 million, just to be basically 600 million, because you can get 6 times more of the supply. So it's apples to apples. $10 million in volume. UFO would earn you $64 a day because the holders are making so much more yield. And there's another reason too. If Zen's in here, you're going to correct me. Please do. Please do. And there's the other stats for that one. Okay. Remember, locking pTGC is a superpower. You're about to see how super it is. This is my favorite calculator because I went big on locking, guys. I'll be honest, man. Now, we do know from my experimental wallet that about 400 million pTGC has been unlocked in any given 30-day period in the last year. The average has gone down. Let's go ahead and get the average. And that, excuse me, that number is important because then you can, we're going to put it into this calculator and do a little forecasting. So give me a second. And you guys might be interested in seeing this. Okay, what am I looking for? Unlocks. Unlocks. Oh, this is PulseChain. This is where I keep my data, guys. This is where I keep my the information that I get. Look, pTGC and UFO combined in July was 1.84% of the total volume on the chain. That's pretty sweet. I'm looking for the unlock section. Unlock. Okay, for the past, see, we had a huge month in March because of a certain ecosystem, maybe a couple of them. Huge. So since January, okay, since the beginning of the year, the average has been, what's the average? Oh yeah, that's, it's not going to give me, I'd have to go back here. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this on the fly. Yeah, I really need to get that, let me think here. Yeah, bear with me, guys. I'm going to take a note. I'm going to get the average unlocks, the total unlocks for every month, and then I can get the average. So hold up, guys. This is important. Total unlocks in tracker by month. Then I'll do that after this. Because then we can get like the last 6 months of unlocks. Otherwise, we'll just go with 395. But as you can see, there's it has reduced like a lot. I think it's going to go back up because we washed out a lot of the lockers in that ecosystem. They were emergency ending their locker, and remember, they were paying 36% to do that. And then most of them got wrecked. I'd bet $1 million pTGC that pretty most of them got wrecked. But the early ones, they wash themselves out. So obviously it's going to be a little bit of a lag before people start unlocking again. That's right, Kurt. Better late than never. Just thinking what that yield when pTGC is $1. That yield when pTGC is $1. Okay, the yield coming in is going to be the same value, but you're going to get a lot less tokens. But the tokens that you earned that are sitting in your wallet that you're earning, let's say you're earning 100,000 a week. That would be 100,000 a week. That's how it works, guys. We love it when price goes down because then you're earning more tokens. If you believe in the future of the system, you know the value of those tokens is going to increase with the system. All right, now let's go. Where was I? Moon math. Let's go to that lock calculator. So you select calculator, lock calculator. And we're going to tune this down because it's not 139 anymore. It's more like 131. We'll go with 131. And there was 395 million. So just for the sake of the illustration, we're going to go with 395 million because that's what it was last year. Let's say you do have 100 million tokens and they're worth, as John May hinted, they're worth $1 because we did that 1,500 combined X. We did a 15X on PTDC and Pulse did 100X. That's 1,500X, $1 PTDC. You're 100% locked. So you can't access your tokens, but you can access your yield, your reflections, your staking rewards, and your lock-in rewards. What would those be worth today? Well, you would earn 90,194 tokens from this 1 month's worth of unlocking penalties, worth $90,193. 90,000 in a 30-day period for locking 100 million tokens. This is 3 dolphins. Lock 3 dolphins, and at $1, if we have this average, this wallet would earn $90,000. Yes, Banana is a very much big fan of locking tokens. And I bet All About Passive Income is either having a cow right now or already knows about this. Okay, so that's it for the moon math. All right, and we're at 1 hour and 46 minutes. Really no surprise. I thought it was going to go faster, but it's going to be a 2-hour thing today. Well, I hopefully the ROI minute per minute has been good. Let's go look at some of my slides. We're going to skip a few, but let's look at some. The grays are leaving others in the dust. And I'm talking about like the main assets on the chain. And, honestly, everything built on the chain should leave at least Pulse in the dust. But PTDC is up 7,110Xs against Pulse. UFO is up 366X against Pulse. Hex 2.7, and you can see the rest. Not very impressive. You know what I mean? But honestly, they haven't had their day yet. PTDC is also outperforming the core assets. We already saw Pulse. pTGC is also up against Pulse X 425X, up against Hex 970, and up against Inc 50X. UFO is outperforming the core assets also. 34X up against Pulse, 21X against PLSX, and so on. Let's skip that one for now. And this is in a series. I run out of time, but this one has merit right here. We have time for this one. Actual holder and staker rewards at 36,000. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was the leagues. Was that the? Yeah. Okay. We have a secret leagues one here. I do want. We will go over this one. So between the DAO and PTDC, we could potentially burn $128 million worth of tokens, pTGC tokens, if we had $10 million in volume per day. And that would be $128 million worth of tokens sent to the dead address. And I would argue that even if we didn't send all of those tokens to the dead address, that $128 million worth of volume, $128 million worth of value would go somewhere. It may not go to the dead address, but it would go somewhere. If we have $10 million of volume between PTDC and UFO, get ready, because they're going to be it's going to be a monster. It's going to be a monster. Look, this slide is updated. Let me comment on John May. We're about to make history here with PTDC and UFO. Oh, good. Good deal, man. I figured you were. You're a yield hound. I'm a yield hound too. So you guys probably don't even remember the numbers on the last one, but look, between August of last year, so for a full year, July of this year, PulseChain's volume increased by 2x. Its price dropped by 12%. pTGC's volume, on the other hand, increased by 9x. And its price increased by 1,200%. That's a 100x in price versus PLS, and like a 4x in volume. What does that mean? Where does that put pTGC when PulseChain runs? Guys, I know. It's like, I need to be, somebody slap me. I got to wake up. Market cap comparison. You guys can guess all the tokens except for one. It's on here. I got a little axe to grind. And the second one down, though, is PulseX. And that's from May to June. And I really should update that one. All right. I am scrolling through some that we're just going to skip today. The best believe they will be following in later. Yeah. People just don't know, except for those of us that are here. But the rest of crypto will be butthurt and wishing they got in. Yeah, sorry. Doing talk and text, and it messes things up a lot. It's all right, man. You're plugged in, dude. All right, we will skip this one also just for sake of time. Here are your Sea Creature Leagues. If you guys want to screenshot that. Dolphin position in pTGC is $20,400. I just updated these this morning. And in UFO, it's $3,400. So $20,400 divided by 3,400 is a solid 6x. You can get 6 times more of the supply of UFO now versus pTGC. And for some, myself included, that speaks to me. I mean, if I did a 50-50 on each, like if I was looking at these and I put at $1,000 or $100,000, put 50,000 on pTGC, 50,000 on UFO, immediately 6x my UFO bag. That's kind of how I look at it. Yeah, I know it. I play little tricks with my mind. Don't tell me I'm not the only one. So where are we in PulseChain? Don't spoil it, John. PulseChain has not had its run yet. We have hypothesized in the months and months past what could happen on these tokens, and the hypothesization has happened. And so basically, like what we projected long ago has already happened at the bottom of the chain. The chain hasn't done anything but go down over the last 2 years plus. So what does that mean for the Grace currencies that are 30x up against the PulseChain? Show me some other tokens that are 30 with a 14, 24-month history that are going up against the blockchain. Show me some up against the blockchain. USD is one thing. Up against the layer one, that's a whole nother matter. I don't understand. I don't understand why more tokens haven't performed as well, but I'm happy with the Grays. So we liken these two machines to machines, like fine-tuned Lamborghinis. Yeah, we're talking like $100,000, $200,000, whatever they cost, cars that can go from 0 to 60 in like whatever 0.5 seconds. But right now, they're really not going full speed. They're not even moving. They're not moving. I mean, $90,000 in volume of pTGC and $25,000 in UFO. That ain't moving. And that's just the nature of where we are in the cycle with the L1 that hasn't moved at all. So we're like sitting at the stoplight in our Lambo. We got the clutch down and we're engaged in first drive, first gear. And when the light turns green, this is what it's going to look like. When PulseChain runs, that's what it's going to look like. Yeah, John, we're going to the firmament, man. It's going to be crazy. I mean, that's what we think. And we have a lot of history. We have a lot of history to back up our thinking. And I just shared a lot of it with you. All right. So if you are, let me get back on my, get back on track here. Okay. So the one thing I always like to mention is that these tokens are the golden goose of crypto. They are becoming they are a store of value. I'm storing value in these tokens. And you got to be careful because they're the golden goose. You don't want to kill the golden goose. You can and have a good meal with all your friends over, but you'll never have another golden goose. You may never have another golden goose or an opportunity of one. So wrap your lifestyle. This is me. I'm going to wrap my lifestyle around the eggs and not kill the golden goose. Yeah, I got some 90-day locks that I'm going to, but it's like a small percentage of my bag. And if things work out like I think they will, I'm going to change my life and just hang on to that goose, enjoy the eggs, and go on with life. That's my intention for my bags. And we already talked about that, about your position increase. Okay, we talked about positions. How to on-ramp, use Liberty Swap Finance. OX Coast is another one. You can buy the tokens with MoonPay, like a debit card. You could buy Ethereum with a debit card and then swap it to USDC. Maybe you can buy USDC with MoonPay. But you can flip it into USDC on PulseChain with Liberty Swap. All right. And this is how you do it. This is how you once you're over on the chain, use the DEX, PulseX, and this is what you're going to do. Click on exchange. Let's say you hold Pulse. You're going to flip out of Pulse into UFO. Set your slippage to 7% because you got to account for the 6% fee. Use the auto router. Make sure expert mode and disable multi-hops and all that. And then you can swap for your Pulse for UFO. And you can do the same for pTGC. Those tokens will go directly to your wallet minus the 5% and the 6% fee, and immediately beginning to earn reflections. And then you can rewatch this video or come to do the same thing on Sunday, and you can learn more about these tokens. Actually, you got to learn the same thing, but you can ask any questions. Let's see. Join the Gold Circle Space Force. If you love the Grays currencies like I do, go to secretobank.com, upload and it's /Grays. Upload your profile picture, download their new one, and upload it to your Twitter, Telegram, and YouTube. Join the Gold Circle Space Force. We have several meetings every week. We have this presentation, which is on Sundays and Wednesdays. Twitter Spaces, Mondays and Saturdays, and the voice chat, which will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So come in and talk to the founder tomorrow. It'll be at 8 a.m. Pacific time. 8 a.m. Pacific. And he would love to answer any questions. And I mean that sincerely. He would love to answer any questions. And people are saying pTGC is going to be in the top 25 on CoinGecko. Yeah, well, who was saying that? Zoom. I think we've all been. We're already moving up, and we're tracking that movement, guys. Yeah, we're in we're at 293. We're at 500 something just a few months ago. Now we're at 293, and again, PulseChain hasn't done anything to impress me yet, or anyone else for that matter. Make sure you're transacting from a hardware wallet. That's my one thing. Never digitize your seed phrase. Don't give your seed phrase to a scammer. Be careful about connecting your wallet to sites. Don't do crypto from a phone, all that stuff. Invest your money into crypto like you think it's going to go to the moon. Start with security. That's it, guys. That's it. Kept it under an hour. All right. If you bring friends in, I don't know when I'm going to stop doing these presentations, but there's no time. I have no stopping point in the future. So I will be doing it again next Sunday and the following Wednesday and the following Sunday. And it just goes on and on and on. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thank you for John May. You're always a hoot, man. And everybody else. Can this go to a, oh, I missed this one. It can go to a 20 billion market cap. Yes, Daniel. It can go to a 20 billion market cap. Yep. But let's get to a billion first. We're only like 5x from a billion right now. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll see y'all later. Yes, John. Jonathan, I got to get this one. Yes, I think I posted it in here. Isn't that so good? Dude, I listened to that song. This is another plug for Backwards Hat Dad. Follow him on Twitter too. He is creating the Gray's Currencies songs. And I'm going to tell you, I listened to it twice and hollered both times. Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed to say that, but yes. Thank you, Condor. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Over and out for reals this time. See ya.